Greetings and salutations, Charlton66, Steve here once again with another video. I hope everyone has been doing well and things are going great. The spring is here and I hope everyone has started out doing what they love doing when the weather becomes warm and everyone out enjoying comic books. I don't know, Free Comic Book Day was around the corner. Well, was back not this last weekend, but the weekend, the 6th. Hope everyone had a great time. The reason I mentioned it, I'm just going to start backwards. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to show. I know it's been a while, but as I got a bunch of comic book related stuff, a bunch of comic books, what I like to call a virtual cornucopia of comic book goodness. At least to me, it's comic book goodness. Yeah, the last video I did, it's gonna be a long video. I got a lot of stuff to show, but I hope it holds your interest. If not, you can fast forward it to parts, or what I do, I turn on a video. I like listening to it. I'll bag and board, look at the video. I'll do things around my comic book room, or organize and that kind of thing as I listen and watch videos. So that can be a suggestion. The last video I did, I had a little rant, which it was not negatively received, which I thought it might have been. But most of the people who watch my channel are my age or have the same thought process when it comes to comic book collecting. However, there's other things that I need to talk about, which are good things, and that is the people that I've met, the interactions that I've had. I used to talk about that a lot, and I've kind of gone off that track because I don't make as many videos as I did, only because I'm with Graphic Man on Wednesday nights, and I show a lot of my stuff there. So on Wednesdays we have the 4-Color Fossils with the Graphic Man, Micah. He has a great channel. We have a bunch of great people there, wonderful people there, and that's what I want to kind of segue into. Is that I met a lot of great people. People I consider friends. I've never physically met them, but I consider friends. And I'm not trying to be dramatic in any sense, but I look at the AOKs that I get and people sending me stuff and just wonderful comments and kind comments and kind words that I always put on my videos or on my Instagram. That type of stuff really shows, that it does affect people. What you say, what you do, have it positive, negative, or what have you. It affects people. And, and I appreciate the friendship I've met. I mean, I could go on and name. It's tough naming people because you'll leave somebody out, and I don't like doing that. You guys know who you are. The community knows who they are, and just even folks that I've never had any interaction with, but when it's about comic books, that conversation starts, and I love it. But the friendships that I've made are awesome, and like I said, I never met these folks in person, only know them on the phone. We'll talk on the phone. A few I've met in person, I've talked to. We've gone to cons together. I bought books for them. They bought books for me. We've interacted, and we've done wonderful things. And so I just, with that, rant that I had, is there's also two sides of every coin. And so I just want to mention that. And onward to better days. I noticed again the rant that I had last video. I seen some of the speculators bowing out. I'm not going to talk long about that, but I don't see many videos from them or Instagram posts, or they're putting their 2 cents in. I think it's getting to a point where comic books are not they get quick, rich scheme, the side hustle, so to speak, as they once were. We see comic book prices dropping as far as the modern stuff. The Miles Morales stuff, the first appearance of characters are not what they used to be. I think those are cooling off, which is a good thing. The older books, I see become a little bit of a problem. I've seen dealers on Instagram and people talking of these dealers. I've not experienced it yet because the local shows that I go to have been pretty much on the money as far as I'm concerned. But my understanding and from what I've seen, people are asking graded prices for raw prices because, oh, you're going to get this graded, so we might as well just sit here and say it's worth 2 times guide or 3 times guide or whatever it might be, or fair market value. I say guide because that's what I like going by as a price guide. I think if you're a dealer, oh, the price guide, no, the prices are too low. But when you buy, the dealers, they'll look at fair market value. I mean, don't get me wrong, but the dealer likes to talk about what the guide gives. But fair market value does dictate the hobby more than the price guide, unfortunately. But I see that as being a problem. I hope it doesn't last very long. Uh, I know in California, the few videos I've seen from people in California when they went to I think it's WonderCon. When they went to that, they were complaining that prices on raw books were graded prices. So we'll see. Anyway, on to the comic books I've talked about. It's 7 minutes. It's not too bad. Like I said, it's going to be a long video, but again, I hope it keep your interest. I got a lot of different books. As I said, the virtual cornucopia of comic book goodness. You can use that if you like to. It's not patented or anything like that or trademarked. Free comic, I'll work my way backwards from my earliest stuff to my latest that I have acquired. I probably are going to leave some stuff out because I don't remember if I've showed it on my channel or on Micah's 4-Color Fossils Wednesday nights, which should check out. Very cool. We just do show and tell and talk about old comic books and that kind of good stuff. Got a lot of great people. For Free Comic Book Day, I enjoy Free Comic Book Day, not because there are free comic books. It's not in my wheelhouse. I don't just snag up the comics because they're free, because I know the store owner pays for those books. I've said it before, and a lot of people don't realize that the store owner pays a certain amount per copy that they give away for free. And I think that's a great gesture. I don't want to take advantage of that. So I don't walk in there and just, the mooch factor is kind of high when things are free in this hobby. But I only picked up one book. I'll show that here in a second. But on the Free Comic Book Day, it's a great thing. I really don't see it bringing people into the fold, into comic book reading. I could be wrong. I guess if you got 1 or 2 people who come and become a regular customer, it may pay off. I don't know what the mathematical equation that they use or the system that they use to figure out, is it worth having? I mean, my store I go to had great guests. A lot of people were there, very successful for the store, and I'm very happy to see that. And there's another store that's much further away that I wish I could have went to. Steve Conley was there. I really like Steve. I like talking to him, and he's very much a positive voice in our industry, in the comic book collecting, comic book creator realm. But onward to what I picked up. Finally, going to show a comic book, right? The only book I picked up was the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Comic Books. I don't need a guide on my comic book collecting. This is good for people. This is great for people who know nothing about collecting comic books. but has artwork by the cover, artwork by the Frame Brothers, which go look them up on Instagram. Frame, Fraim Brothers, phenomenal artists. Two brothers, one draws, one inks. I mentioned to them before. I got commissions from them. They did um, they did this cover and the artwork on the inside, as long as another artist I like, Mark Wheatley. They all contributed to this comic book. As I mentioned, my store had guests. Mark Wheatley was one, and I'm going to show you something by him in a minute. But he was sick; he couldn't appear, which I was kind of disappointed. But I met Mark Hempel, got a book signed for Howler Mouse, trade paperback of the Sandman. I think it was the Sandman. The Kindly ones, yeah, it was the Sandman. Was it the Kindly? I can't remember which storyline it was. I'm not a Sandman reader, but I got it signed. Mark Hempel for Howler had that sent to him. He got it in the mail, safe and sound, which is great. They had other artists there. A local guy, I've never heard of him before. His name is Terry Flippo. Not on Instagram, not on the YouTubes. Apparently, he's on Facebook, Flip Art. But I looked for him. My wife has an account, I don't, and I couldn't find anything on him, or I found the wrong person. However, the piece I got was just awesome. This is what he did. Well, he didn't do it. What he drew it, but not there. It was already in a portfolio. And Terry Flippo, and of course this is Klaatu and Gort. Um, from Fourth the Day the Earth Stood Still. You got the Washington Monument in the background, the outline of the ship, and the stippling is really, really cool. It just the way it was inked and drawn, and it looks like Michael Rennie. It's just kind of a Fred Hembeck feel to it, but it's his own style, and I love it. Wish I had more money. I would have bought more stuff from him. If you find him on Facebook, contact him and see if you know what he's got for sale. If he sells through the mail, hope to see him at Baltimore this year because I'm going to buy a lot more stuff from him because it was really, really a pleasure seeing all his really cool stuff and his take on things. Really, really refreshing. I mentioned this stuff before. The Bronze Gazette. Get this in the mail. This is the Mark Wheatley cover on the Bronze Gazette. Very cool rendition of Doc. And the reason I mentioned this, Mark Wheatley did this cover. I was going to have him sign this at the Free Comic Book Day Free Comic Day event. This is his take on if Doc appeared on Collier's magazine, which I think is a great idea. I think what he's wearing is a kind of a combo of what Doc was drawn by Bama and a little bit of Baumhofer's Doc from the pulps. Great stuff. And, it was something really cool to look at. I like seeing different artists take. We've got James Bama, who solidified what the world sees Doc. I mean, that was anytime you see Doc from the point first Man of Bronze with the Bama cover, that's how Doc looked all the time. But I kind of like different variations of that. Like I have that Steranko print that he did for Analog Magazine of Doc in the tuxedo with an idol. Because Doc he did go out and socialize, believe it or not, to symphonies and that kind of thing, and he would wear a tuxedo, obviously. But it's got the Empire State Building in the background, and Doc's in a tux, got a golden idol in his hand. Of course, it's pure Steranko. So I like seeing that kind of stuff. I think it's a little breath of fresh air. Not that it's stale, but when you read Doc, you see him in a different light versus just the way Bama had him. Always torn shirt and the jodhpurs and everything else. So it was a cool thing to see. So more pulp stuff. Again, the Shadow Circle is another. They call this a journal, but it's a prozine. I, lack of a better term, on the Shadow. Great information, stories, insight. Same thing as a Bronze Gazette, but instead of being Doc, obviously it's a Shadow. And I've talked about these before. A few figures I got from the reaction line from Super 7. I took this out of the package. I usually do on my figures, but the Maximilian from the uh, Black Hole movie, I think it's pretty neat. I took him out because I really wanted to see him displayed with on a little clear hovering platform. That the packaging is so cool because the packaging, the card is shaped like him, which is a full color card, of course, and it's shaped like Maximilian, which I thought was very cool. But I wanted him out. One I'm not taking out, it's against my rules. Um, the Super 7 reaction line has off this one from Go See Weird Stories. Was it 122, I believe? LB Cole cover, but the detail on the figure is just amazing. I just don't know how they did it on such a little figure. I mean, you look at the drawing, you look at the even the pouch on his leg is there. The brown pouch. It's just a very cool figure. LB Cool, artwork from the cover. It's just hard to take him out of this package. There are 4 figures from 4 different pre-code horror and sci-fi books. Those are out right now. Well, I think they're very, very cool. $20 a figure. It's hard to spend $80 on 4 little figures, even though they're so cool. I hate not having the set, but that's a comic book or two. So, I think they're great. I wish I could. I mean, I can, but it's kind of like $80 on 4 little figures. So I wish they would have cut a deal. Cut a little bit of slack when you buy 4, maybe 65 or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a cool figure. That came in the mail the other day. On to the comic books. This is from a local show that I went to. I can't remember, last weekend before last or last month. Doom Patrol 105. I post these on Instagram. So there's some of you who follow me on Instagram have seen this before with the interiors as well. So we have Doom Patrol 109. These are such great reads, and I really don't understand why. I mean, we talk about this all the time. It's a discussion we can have forever. Why certain books just linger unknown or unappreciated while other ones hit stellar success. I mean, I'm not going to compare characters right now because everyone has their favorite, but like the Doom Patrol and the Metal Men, great until the Metal Men were until they went to a little darker turn. Fun, you know, you know, unpretentious. It was a good time with the Metal Men. Same thing with the Doom Patrol. Fantastic stuff. The first appearance, I think, I'm fine that it's undervalued. It's one I can pick up. I just haven't found the grade and the price that I like. I don't want high grade. I'm happy with a mid to lower grade copy. As long as it's together, it's not falling apart, and the cover's attached, I'm there. So this is 110, and I love the cover. Look at his brain. It's in liquid. It's pretty darn cool. But yeah, this again, I just don't understand why certain books just just that they don't get the praise that they deserve, and I just can't figure out why other ones. Again, we can have this discussion. It's a great discussion to have. I mean, it's one of those things where that's part of collecting and part of fandom of having these discussions. Why do certain characters just take off or groups take off while other ones just sit down. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is freaking awesome. Just great stuff. Um, the Star-Lord, I missed the special edition. I don't know why. Came out in 1981, and I was in the Star-Lord. I bought the black and white magazines. I've got all of his appearances in black and white magazines. Marvel Spotlight he was in. And this thing, I just don't understand why I missed out on it. But it's great. Star-Lord Special Edition, #1. I don't know. I don't know why. It wasn't because of the cover price. I mean, I'm paying $1.50 for the comic books and especially thicker Baxter paper comic books. But in the event, I found it for a good price. I think I got it for under $5, so I was very happy to have that. Another great book that I think is highly underrated, My Greatest Adventure, which of course our beloved Doom Patrol appeared in 10 issues later from this one. This is number 70, tracked by the fabled Fish Man. And there you go. I think this is a great book. Just a fun title. Done in one, you read it, you're good to go. And this is a great cover. This is 72. It has a gladiator following these soldiers up a hill, fighting the enemy. I think it's pretty darn cool. Pretty fun book. Of course, my beloved Charlton, Out of This World. May, what issue was this one? I don't know, but it's got Ditko in it, I know that. I can't remember what. This is the book. Look at how nice that is. Beautiful book. Out of This World. I love all the stories that are depicted on. We have a night gallery or something, which came later. This is number 13, 1959. It's got 3 Ditko stories in here, if I'm not mistaken. Is that just one? Yeah, just one story, but it's a beautiful book. Out of This World. Slowly getting all of these together. Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds and Out of This World are what I'm trying to complete, because they didn't continue these 2 series like off and on throughout the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, like a lot of their titles did. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel on those 2 titles. This is a fun book. Sword of Sorcery, early Chaikin and other people involved with this. I think it only lasted 6 issues, I think. Anyway, Farford and the Grey Mouser, and it's just a very cool book. It's just really fun, and you can't you can't find anything today that matches some of these books. A lot of these books. A lot of books today are, I'm not on a rant, so don't worry. But a lot of these things are cover buys. The inside is direct. People just want the cover. And I'm just thinking, cut out the middleman and just make prints and let them buy prints of the cover. You have these editors and writers that don't know how to write. For most of the writers, the characters are far from the source material. You guys know what I'm talking about, so we'll move on. This book I've been looking for a long time. The price was not what I expected. The price was never what I was going to pay, or the condition. Either I've seen them very high grade or graded, and I'm not paying those prices. I found a very good mid-grade book for a very good mid-grade price, and that is Flash 151, which I love the Golden Age crossovers, and this is a great book. I've been looking for this, like I said, for a long period of time. It's very nice. It presents, well, maybe not where it presents well. It presents well, but it does for the grade and for the price. I'm very happy with it. Here we talked about it earlier, the Beloved Metal Men. Here's number 16, which is a very cool cover. All the Metal Men front and center and present. Metal Men number 13. Great stuff. Raid of the Skyscraper Robot. This guy was eating skyscrapers in the story. Pretty darn cool. And we got Challengers of the Unknown, number 58, with a killer of a cover. I've not read this issue yet. Challengers, the early Challengers were aces. I mean, straight across, classic stuff. It was spotty later on, but this looks to be a banger of a book. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Showcase number 61, The Spectre. Everyone's seen this book. First time I've had it in my collection, believe it or not. I've loved The Spectre. Silver Age stuff, I love it. Got the go-go checks on it. But I never had that book. This was one I missed too. I don't know why. Adventure Comics 459. Got a great Don Newton story with the New Gods. And it's a beautiful, beautiful book. I got this for like less than $5, believe it or not, which I was very happy to get this. I've been missing this issue for a while. It's just so white. You see a lot of copies that are really dirty, and $10-15. I'm not paying that for that book when I know I can get it. Obviously, I got it for $5 with a dirty white cover. Charlton Neo. I don't know if I remember showing this or not. They do reprints, they do some background stuff, covers. Sometimes they have the original. I don't know if they're shot from the original art or copies, file copies of the original art. I don't know how. I've never seen that much original art from Charlton out there. So, but again, Charlton Neo puts these out. These are always fun. Get a little bit of Charlton goodness there. Some books might not be hard to find. Might be hard to find that they'll have in this one. I think I've shown this one before. Fighting War Heroes Volume 1, which is pretty cool. One of the AOKs that I mentioned earlier that the great community has given, Lead Paint, who had shown these 3 comic books on his Instagram. And I commented, wow, those are great, hard to find books. I forgot what my comment entailed, but I liked them. And then a few days later, I get a package in the mail, and here are those 3 comic books that he gifted to me. And they're awesome. What I'm referring to is our 3 Charlton comics. The Iron Corporal, number 23 from 1985. Any 75-cent Charlton that you see, get it. They're very hard to come by. Their print run is very low. They're hen's teeth, more or less. And he sent these to me, Iron Corporal 23. This is the end of the company. The lights are getting ready to go out. This is 24 from December of 85. And Lead Paint sent these to me. and I was just totally flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. And Lead Paint, you're watching, again, thank you. I was taken aback. I still am. They are a highlight of my Charlton collection, um, because of your gifting them to me, and the fact that they're hard to come by. And I couldn't believe I have these. And this is from '86, February, number 25. And like I said, they're probably packing up the suitcases right now and getting ready to shut off the lights when this issue came out, of Charlton and Derby, Connecticut. So Lead Paint, thank you again, sir. And again, like I mentioned, the kindness of this community, bar none. Bar none. I got another AOK. And I can't remember between the two videos which AOK this is. I do believe it's from Bronze and Black Box, Bronze and Silver Age. Joe. I think these are from him. And Joe, if you're watching, and I can't remember, and I'm sorry. I am really sorry if I can't remember for sure. But there are Hot Rod magazines, Hot Rod comic books, which those are hard to come by more and more. The romance and the Hot Rodder books are getting tougher and tougher to come by, from Charlton, at least in this area. So, Joe, I hope I'm right, and I hope I'm not forgetting somebody else, because I got another AOK from Jess. I think I already talked about that. And from Bill, I think I already talked about that. I should have looked at my videos and saw, but I didn't. I'm pretty sure this is from Joe. Dragon Wheels, number 47. Great Jack Keller. I've talked about Jack Keller before. He's done it all. His westerns are really, really good as well. Hot Rod and Racing Cars, featuring Clint Curtis and the Road Knights. This is James Gunn tweeted that Clint Curtis is going to be part of a Universal Hot Rod movie. So get your Clint Curtis books. It's going to cross over with My Love Story or I Love You. They're going to have a big crossover. James Gunn tweeted that. So go on and get your Hot Rod books. This is Outlaws of the West, number 80. So go and get your Clint Curtis books. He was a Fawcett character, believe it or not. This is a Ditko cover. And I'm pretty sure this is from Joe. Yeah, so, James Gunn and Clint Curtis and I Love You, they're going to cross over. It's going to be a big event. So go on and get them. Wild West 58, I think. Great cover. Pony Express, but he's too old. Peace River, the Wagon Master. I haven't read this one yet, so I don't know. But he's too old to be Pony Express. Pony Express used orphans, believe it or not, if you didn't know that. There's a great book called Orphans Preferred about the Pony Express. Didn't last that long. I think it was under 18 months or something like that. But there was a book about that. And they used orphans because they were small, they can ride quick, didn't tire the horses out as much. Interesting book. It's called, do I have it? It's going to educate you guys. I don't think I have it handy. No. It's called Orphans Preferred. I was going to show it to you. Oh well. Yeah, interesting book. It's the history of the Pony Express. Six Gun Heroes with the Gunmaster. This is a great cover. It's a reprint. They use it elsewhere, not on Gunfighters, but for something else. And I don't know what they use this cover for, but it's such a great cover. Gunfighters, number 67. This was also used on another Western, probably late 50s, on another title. Think about Charlton, man. They love reusing stuff. My Beloved Smiling Jack. This is wonderful. This actually happens in the book. This is Smiling Jack from Dell. Smiling Jack number 7 from 1949. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Great. It still has gloss. And there they are getting chased. Yeah, great. I love Smiling Jack. Leo from Time Travel Comics showed an issue of popular comic books that he picked up. Of course, Smiling Jack had a strip in Popular Comics. Hope I didn't do anything. No, I didn't. I thought I did something to this. Had a strip in Popular Comics, as well as Super Comics. The Super Comics. But they're reprinted from the 30s newspaper strips. This is 60 Center, Charlton, Gunfighters number 74. Great looking character. And we got the Mountain Ben Bowie and his Mountain Men. 4-color, 513. Again, all this was in an AOK. I mean, just this community is incredible. Jungle Jim came from King Comics. This is 5. King Comics are great. And that's it on the comic books. That's about it. I thought it would be I thought this would be a longer video. But I guess for people who don't like hearing me ramble, it's a good thing. And those who wanted me to ramble longer, it's a bad thing. But I do appreciate everyone being here. Thanks again for stopping by. I don't know when the next video I will do. There's a local show on the 20th. Which is this weekend. So I may do a video if I go to that show and what I pick up there. I do, like I said, I'm there Wednesday night with Graphic Man and the 4-color fossils, which is a virtual cornucopia of comic book readers and collectors. So stop by. If you have not been there, just say hi, leave a comment, give a thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. Do the same thing here. I do appreciate it. I'm starting to answer comments, as you guys can tell, who I've answered so far from my last video. I'm working my way back. I do my best to keep up on this one, so I'm not playing catch up on more comments. So, all right, guys, take care, and I'll see you around.